The Gills have their first point of the season. Hooray. Thank you and good night. Yeah, there's been a draw on the road for Gillingham. Created some chances with some resolute defending to take a point back to Kent. And what many build as a very much a League Two matchup. Gills again grew into the game and created some decent chances in both halves. But ultimately, both coaching staff and fans should be pretty pleased with a stalemate. With me tonight are two mates that never go stale. We have Dave and Alex joining us this evening. Good evening to you both.
Evening.
I swear these are getting cornier, aren't they? These little intros. I work hard on these ones. Alex,
Really?
how are you doing considering that you're one of the 336 fans that travelled up to Fleetwood yesterday?
Yeah, I'm so happy I made the trip for that really great game of football.
Oh, glad you think so. I was just going to ask you to basically just lay it out on the table and sum up how you felt about the result and performance. So go ahead.
Defensively, we were good. Maybe we could say we were unlucky not to win. I think Hale's one that hit the post was a great strike, good win. He's stretching it, it's the post, and Kendall. I mean, he's tried to place it. I think another day we go and win that game, a bit like we said with Walsall. Defensively, again, there's lots of positives to take, but it's deflating to travel all that way and watch Omar Beckles punt the ball long to Ronan Hale's head. Like it's such a deflating feeling. And then when you come out and people are like, yeah, no, that's a really good point. You're like, it's not like it's not a good point at all.
I genuinely thought that you were you were starting to turn yesterday in a sense of, oh, you know what, I can get on board with this. But does going and not seeing a single goal almost not help the situation either? The fact that you've made that trip yourself.
Yes and no. It's not like I want to see us score 5 or 6 goals every single game because we're not. And if I wanted that, I'd go and support Man City. But it's going and watching the same thing over and over again that doesn't work. Like we've been saying for weeks that Freeman's not a right wing back yet. I turn up and he's playing right wing back again, and he's putting in a disaster class again. Like it's seeing the same things over and over again, and people saying, "Oh, we've got to wait for change." We've been waiting for years. We've been waiting a year with Ainsworth for it to change, and he's still doing the same things, putting square pegs in round holes. That's where the frustration is. If we went up there and we drew 0-0, but we looked good on the ball, we created more chances, we dominated the ball a bit more, then I'd be coming away saying, yeah, that's quite a good point. We got unlucky, but I'm not, because we didn't. We watched Omar Beckles and Andy Smith punt the ball long yet again.
This might not be about to change that one, I'm afraid, Alex. Dave, in terms of the Walsall game to now, there were some similar patterns in terms of decent build-up at times, Alex, and chances created. We obviously had some chances at goal. But ultimately, the difference from last week was the defensive part of it. You know, a lot of people come away saying actually defensive, the back three were a lot tighter, a lot more together. And that was the focus of Gareth's post-match as well. Is that where the plaudits should go? Is the difference between the defence against Walsall and the defence against Fleetwood yesterday?
Absolutely. I mean, I think Ali's just put in the comments there that they showed a lot of character.
Let's bring that up, shall we? So that we can see it.
Wow, look at you, Tom.
Yes.
Press some random buttons.
Great. No, but it was about character. I mean, there was a 15-minute period in the second half, probably 60 to 75 minutes, where we were on the chat and we were saying it's just a matter of time before Fleetwood score. But you know, we dug in. I mean, the defensive performance, and I'm not talking just about the defenders and the goalkeeper. The whole team from front to back was what you would call a Gillsy defensive performance. You know, a lot of blocks. You know, we got stuck in. We did a little bit of shithousery, and it was great to see. But you know, Alex is right. You know, we are lacking maybe that little creative spark, maybe a bit of luck as well in front of goal. But I was thinking a little bit earlier on when I was bringing the washing in, you know, the glamorous life that I lead, that we started off so well last week, and in the middle of the park we had Alvarez and we had Little, And you can say what you want about Little, but they're two completely different players. Little was got on the ball and he tried to pass it about, and we looked a lot more fluid. And as a result, we started creating chances. And I think we've got two similar players in the middle of the park. For all of Robbie McKenzie's qualities, I wouldn't say he's a dynamic box-to-box midfielder. And we don't have that. And we said on the group chat, when was the last time we had a player like that? Little tries to be like that, but probably Carl Dempsey, I think, was the last thing. And I think that's what we're missing more than maybe, I don't know, like a 20-goal season player. I think we're missing creativity in the middle of the park. I think the middle of the park is our biggest problem and has been for a long, long time.
And I guess the proof in that, Dave, is how many sides went up from League Two last season. Not that I'm saying that we should be doing that, but up from League Two last season that had that 20-goal season striker. Obviously, Michael Cheek won them at Bromley, but I don't think many sides nowadays have goal strikers that get those. But they have the supporting cast, the wingers, the midfielders that can back up those strikers and create and score themselves. And that's what we are missing, aren't we?
I will draw, right. So the perfect example here is Cheltenham Town. No disrespect to Cheltenham Town, right? We're a bigger team than them. We've got a bigger budget than them. On the pitch, we've got arguably better players. Last season, they had Hutchinson, right? Okay. A box-to-box midfielder. And he was absolutely outstanding for them. Created goals, scored goals, yeah? And as a result, you could argue that they overachieved based on what the budget would dictate. But that is exactly the type of player that we need in this football team. It's all right having a number 10. It's all right having this, that, and the other. But, for me, there's times when Brophy's too isolated. And I think Brophy's a very good player, and I think he plays 10 role fantastically well. But we just don't have a player in the middle of the park. Alvarez breaks up the play. Lovely, great. Need that. Absolutely. But we haven't got a player who puts his foot on the ball and can pick a pass or is mobile enough to run 20 yards down the pitch and get us up the pitch. We don't have that. We really don't. And Ali's right.
That I think is Ali's point about the midfielders and that sort of stuff. And we've been saying for a while, haven't we, that our midfielders are very like for like. There's nobody in there that brings, energy is one thing, but energy without the ability to enhance on that creatively is what's going to stop us from.
And the frustrating thing is 20 minutes in last week, we're all sat there going, and Mackenzie's been absolutely pelted last season. Some of it justified, some of it not justified. But he looked really promising. The pair of them looked really promising. Dovetailed really well. Little, sorry, yeah. I do mean Little. Who did I say?
You said Mackenzie.
Oh, sorry. And no disrespect. Listen, I think you look at when you put Little and Mackenzie together, you have a similar outlook. You have a similar sort of dynamic. But Alvarez, I think, is a little bit more snappy in the heels, a little bit younger. We have Armani Little. Whether you think he's good, bad, or indifferent, Armani Little's a Gillingham player, and he fits that mould. But we just need to get him fit and on the pitch and give him the opportunity to demonstrate that. But for whatever reason, they decided to start a player who hadn't had a pre-season, and now he's injured again.
As per the usual. Alex, on to the game then. It seemed like mostly Fleetwood pressure for the first sort of half hour or so. What a lot of us, and James and Keelan spoke about this on Thursday on the preview show, we sort of expected a little bit more that Fleetwood would start the better off and Gillingham might have to sort of contain for a little while. Were you happy to do that as long as the defending matched the game plan, that we would just sort of not sit back, but maybe soak up a little bit of pressure and then see where we got taken on from there on in? Was that always going to be the plan?
Yeah, do you think so? I think anywhere you go away in League Two, and Ainsworth loves, it's a tough place to go there. It's a tough place to go. Everywhere's a tough place to go. It's an away game, you know what I mean? And you're not at your ground. It's a tough place to go. You get through the first thing. You get through the phases of the game. The issue I took really was that's okay having that game plan for the first 30, and I thought we did it perfectly. We defended amazingly well, but we didn't have any other plan throughout the game. It looked like we wanted a draw, and I was quite happy with the first sort of 30 minutes and how we played. Quite happy with the game as a whole defensively, but we just didn't look like we were ever going to come out of that. That game plan was executed great, but we never switched to anything else.
Yeah,
Do you think, Alex, that Fleetwood were there for the taking? I hate that phrase, but I can't think of anything better. Do you think they were there for?
Absolutely. I think if we see when Kendall came on and Waldock came on, I thought Waldock was brilliant when he came off the bench. They looked like they wanted to get forward. They looked like they wanted to attack Fleetwood, and Fleetwood left us gaps. I think if we had maybe brought Kendall in earlier, or maybe wanted to play a bit more on the front foot instead of every time we got the ball just pumped it long and expected them to come back at us and hope for a break, we maybe could have fashioned 2 or more half chances where you get that bit of luck. But we only create, I don't want to say clear cut chances because Goodwin's not really a clear cut and Hales wasn't really a clear cut, but like we've created 2 of them and we've not got any luck. If we create 5 of them, maybe one of them bounces off the defender's leg and goes in. The luck we were talking about, we don't put ourselves in a position to get that lucky. And if we had done that earlier, maybe switch the game plan where instead of soaking up loads of pressure, we tried to put a bit of pressure on Fleetwood, we'd have gone and won that game.
Yeah, and in terms of how the game progressed then, Dave, so the opportunities sort of started to come through, and again, it was Will Goodwin that was on the end of a couple of them sort of in the first half, and the first opportunity was a build-up of Brophy on the half turn forward into Freeman, and Freeman got across in there, and Goodwin. Again, if you look at the Goodwin situation there, just for that one first chance, anywhere either side of the keeper's a goal, right? Or it's at least going to be a save for the keeper to have to make. But is that just indicative right now of Goodwin finding his feet a little bit and maybe not being convincing enough?
I really like him. He's more mobile. He's seems to be more physical. He seems more robust than Andrews and Vokes were, and he's getting into these positions. And if you don't get in them positions, you make them score a goal. I'd like to think, and I read someone said, look, he looks like the type of player who scores in batches. One chance, and he'll get 2 or 3 over the course of maybe 2 or 3 games. He'll go on a streak. I think he's that type of player. But what pleased me most was him and Hale seem to be getting a better understanding, and Hale seems to like to buzz off him. They're getting closer. You can see that. I really like Goodwin, and I think, like you said, the header he should have maybe, he had time. He got away from his marker, which was good. It's not so much a free header, but it was as good as a free header. You maybe head it down or head it across goal or do, not straight at the keeper. But, I'm quite excited that we've actually got a target man who actually looks like he could actually do something. And he's dangerous. We're talking, he missed these chances. He missed this, he missed that. But he's getting chances. Well, you can't say that about Andrews. You couldn't say that about Vokes, really.
Andrews sounds about as freaky as your chair, Dave. A couple of months out now with that. Yeah. Alex, I've sort of asked the same question about the second Goodwin chance to you that I had to Dave. So just on that second header where, again, it was Freeman down the right-hand side, which I know that you're a big fan of.
Love him so much.
Will Goodwin. Was the second Goodwin header chance probably a little bit of an easier one in terms of it was closer in towards the goal? Again, didn't seem to get sort of the purchase on it that you would expect. Is this just, again, finding his feet as far as you're concerned?
Yeah, I think it's similar to what Dave has said. I think he's a player that he's in the right positions. It's only a matter of time before one of those goes in. To defend him a little bit on both headers, really, I don't think it's the right type of cross, and that's not just me saying it because it's Freeman. I'd say if it was McKenzie or if it was any other right back, he asked too much of the striker to do. You're asking them to generate a lot of power with the net muscles and direct it. As a striker, you want the ball whipped in so it hits your head and the power comes off the cross. They're floaty. They're not quite hitting the right sort of the cross into him, and they're asking a lot. It's okay to say he's got a director's header either side of the goalkeeper. I think with the one that either of them, if he puts it either side of the goalkeeper probably still saves it because it's not coming off with a lot of power. So it's a case of they're learning where he wants to be, and he's learning how they're gonna flow that in. Because with a couple of them, I think he maybe didn't have to go with the header. The one where he loses his marker, he doesn't have to go with the header. I think he could probably take a step back, touch that down, and smash it into the back of the net because of the type of cross that Freeman's putting in. And that's not me digging out Freeman, because I know that people are going to be like, you just don't like Freeman. It is just a case of I don't think as an attack, we're still learning how everyone plays together. And that's where Goodwin will come good once he starts getting those sort of chances that he's going to start to bury.
Yeah, and a comment from Ali here about Goodwin, obviously. I mean, there's another comment that's been put in that I'll come to at the end because it's probably a bigger conversation. But yeah, in terms of Goodwin and options up front, obviously we lost Seb Palmer-Holden. We never really got to work out what sort of player Seb was in his time at the club. So we do need a backup striker if Goodwin and Hale are going to be kind of the two that we utilise. Obviously, those players will tire at some point. So yeah, we'll have to see what sort of striker Gareth's got in the.
I suspect that there was rumours, wasn't there, about the lad from Stockport, Andressen, and Uda at Salford. But
I mean, Uda would be a good. Yeah.
But I wonder if he'll go more for the target man and play Kendall as the backup, maybe more nippy striker.
Yeah, especially if we're doing a wing back situation, Kendall won't play there. He'll be.
He won't play as a winger. He's not a wing back. Yeah, and we don't play wingers.
No.
And if you look at it as well, we've got wingers. We've got McCleary. We've got Brophy who can play out there.
Yeah.
Anyway, so but yeah, Ken. Yeah, I wonder if he'll play Kendall more as a backup to Hale.
Yeah, quite possibly, and. I think, we'll go on to talk about him later on a little bit. Dave, so I wanted to come to you about Ronan Hale. Obviously, not scored yet. I know it's only been 2 games. In terms of the type of player Hale is, he wants to, shoot from distance. We saw that last week against Walsall as well. He's desperate for a goal. He just wants to score goals wherever they might come from. Probably the only person in the team that will have a go from distance, as he did yesterday from the wide area. Obviously, hit the post. Unlucky, opportunistic sort of strike from him. Probably, the only sort of player that we would see that would give us that option from distance. Would you think?
Yeah, he's a goal scorer, right? When was the last time we had a striker who would just get the ball and shoot rather than from outside the box or We haven't really had that. And, some of the times you look at his shoots and you think, what are you doing? But there was one yesterday, I think, in the first half where he got the ball and he turned and just hit it on the half volley and it sort of went harmlessly wide. But at least he's having a go. Whereas before we'd get the ball, it'd be recycled out wide, back again, we'd end up losing it. At least he's having a go. And I don't mind. I really don't mind that because eventually, even by the laws of probability, he's going to score, right?
And when he does, it will be a pitch, wouldn't it? Because he would have placed it, keeper would have maybe been out of their goal or something like that. He would have hit it top corner.
But interestingly, he was deemed to be the fox in the box, wasn't he? And he hasn't really turned out to be the fox in the box, has he?
Might depend on how little time we spend getting it in the box, to be fair to you, Dave.
And see, I've done that, you see. You're like Gary Lineker. I've set it up and you just tapped it over the line. You're the fox in the box.
I promise you, I won't do a show in my pants, ever.
Thanks.
You're welcome. It's not that sort of show. Alex, it wouldn't be a Gills match, would it, this season without an injury in the game? And it was obviously Kadeem Harris it was his turn. Having not seen it back myself, what was the situation behind it? What was the extent of it? What can you tell us about how it occurred? And what's your predictions on what the outcome's going to be for Harris?
I hate to be the pessimist, but that's going to be Kadeem Harris's season pretty much done.
Oh, goody.
Yeah, just to be the bearer of bad news for everyone. From what I could see and what I've seen watching it back, and the sort of rumours that you see floating about and the videos, he's picked up the ball, he's danced past the challenge quite well, and he's come on his leg, he's twisted his. I thought it was his ankle, but he's said people are saying it's his knee. And the medical, they couldn't touch it, he couldn't move, he had to be stretchered off. So you would imagine that is going to be one of the ligaments in his knee. And from what you see, it's likely that that's the last of Harris we're going to see this season, unfortunately.
Especially for a 33-year-old who's, I know the comments online are rife about injured players and that sort of stuff. Gordon's situation, Harris' situation cannot be helped, right? It's nothing to do with previous history or, the body being made out of paper, whatever you want to call it, or as Dave says, made out of rice. But the fact you've got two new players out potentially for a long time, a long part of the season, how do you manage to how do you explain that? How do you is it just bad luck, essentially, Alex?
It is unlucky. Those two are unlucky. We can't. You can't do anything about that. Little is more on the medical team. They need to put their foot down and say no, he's not ready. He was clearly not ready to come back in, or he'd still be fit. His minutes weren't managed correctly, and that's been a case over seasons where we just don't manage injuries correctly at all. I think going into this season, let's be nice and say 5 first team players out injured already, and we're 2 games in, and they've been injured since game 1. Like, you're looking at your medical staff going, what are we doing? But then also it falls on the fact of Gareth likes to play with the smaller squad. We can't play with a smaller squad because we have 7 people out injured every week. So what are we going to do about that? I know that Harris, we're going to have to probably go out and sign a replacement, or at least a replacement centre half. But what about Daki? What about Little? What about all these people that shouldn't be injured, that are injured? We've done a pre-season. How are you coming into the season with 5 people injured from pre-season?
Yeah, and obviously that's a question that a lot of fans are asking. Friend of the show, Kian, has a comment about the supporting cast, which we obviously will sort of get onto at some point in the season when they're all back. Brophy's started quite well, but often starts quite sort of deep. And I guess the thing of having McCleary and co as supporting strikers, it's not ideal because they're not really well versed of playing there. But the way that Gareth's employing a lot of these players, rather than playing McCleary and co at wing back and putting them sort of back, they will therefore play like Aaron Rowe did last season in spells, like Antwi was brought in to do, was to play sort of in the engine room behind the striker. That does appear to be the way that we're doing things.
None of those players are second strikers. They play behind the strikers.
Well, right? I think McCleary was at times last season.
Certainly Dak and Brophy, second strike. They're not second strikers. I mean,
have it out in the group chat then.
Yeah, we'll have that out in the group chat.
I can't wait for this one.
Yeah, look, that you wouldn't say that those players are similar to Hale, right? So Kendall is the backup to Hale in my view, and we don't have another number 9 to back up Goodwin.
Yeah, and as we've got there for GFC, I wonder who they support. GFC, 360 GFC. Yes, you can't do anything about that. It is just the sod's law, which is not a pun about.
I was told Harris has a twisted knee.
Okay.
And they do not know until they've had the scan whether there is any ligament damage, but they are cautiously optimistic. But even if it is a twisted knee, you're looking at 4 to 6 weeks.
Yes, which will derail his progress somewhat as well, and obviously it might open doors for the likes of Conor McManus. But we want to keep the doors open.
That's the cautiously optimistic view, but I guess we'll find out over the course of the next week, or we might not because we don't get told about the state.
We don't get told these things, Dave. So we'll see him in 4 to 6 weeks, or we'll never see him again. So we'll just have to guess.
Yeah. I'll ask him. I can't ask him Saturday, but I'll ask him the next home game I go to when he's sat on the bench behind with all the other.
There you go, perfect. Dave, in terms of last week against Walsall, I think it was actually you two talking about it. The subs got a lot of criticism when the game turned in Walsall's favour. On this occasion, the subs actually gave a little bit more life to the game, and of the likes of Kendall and Waldock was quite late on, and we saw Anthony for the first time in almost 200 days. So good to see him back. Was it nice to see us, Dave, making more of an impact and trying to get a winner rather than just the game petering out?
Yeah, I mean, did he though? Was it not just like for like Hale for Kendall and?
Well, okay, but in terms of a flagging Ronan Hale being brought off for a quick replacement in Kendall, was he not position-wise?
Was he not trying to just maintain the same formation and the same tactics he was adopting by putting the same sort of players to, but
isn't it energy though, isn't it?
I get that. But Kendall looked lively. He really did look lively. Antwi, I don't think he had a lot of time, but he didn't get injured. That's good. Waldock fashioned a chance, and he also nearly cost us a goal at the other end.
Don't worry about that, Dave.
He just turned into trouble. But again, up and down, a bit more mobile. I like that. He seemed to have license to get forward. And McManus again, I like him. I really like him. It was one where I forget who he was up against. It might have been even Evans. Someone was cutting in, and he just stood his ground, and the guy, he just bundled it to the floor, and the guy's going absolutely mental. And McManus was just looking at him and just carried on walking. I thought he played well, McManus, when he came on. I thought he looked more adept to that position than Harris.
A left-footed left wing back with experience playing there, albeit for the sort of Premier League under-21 side. But obviously with Harris now, unfortunately, will open a door for him.
He's going to get his chance. And touch wood, he actually can stay fit. We don't have to go out and get Max Clark back.
He's still without a club, it would seem.
Although I would have him back, not as a first-team player, I'd have him back as a reserve, but I would have.
Let's not go down that rabbit hole today.
I can hear the Undertaker vibes from Alex.
Mahoney as well for shits and giggles, really, that one. Precisely. Alex and Dave. Alex, first of all, your man of the match yesterday.
Tough. Can I? Can you go to Dave first? Because I really don't know.
Yeah, go on, Dave. I'll bleed it out of Alex afterwards.
I thought Smith was fantastic. He had a lot of criticism. Again, quite rightly so in a lot of cases, but I think a lot of people just lumped on him because we do love a scapegoat. But I thought he didn't put a foot wrong yesterday. I thought he was tremendous, solid. There was one where the ball came into the box and Ched Evans was unmarked. He flung himself and got there first, and that epitomised his day. I thought Andy Smith was terrific yesterday. Closely followed by Beckles and Dobbs.
Well, there you go, see. And by the way, congratulations to Logan Dobbs on his first EFL start. Hope to see many more of those. Alex, your MOM yesterday.
Yeah, you know what? I'm going to give it to Logan Dobbs on his first EFL start because he's up against, as much as you can have some very choice words to say about Mr. Evans. I thought he did fantastic. Both. He did fantastic. Evans is he's a big physical striker. He's probably the epitome of what a League Two striker is, right? And Dobbs handled him fantastically well. He was throwing himself at him. You could see Evans every time the ball was going anywhere near the box. He was trying to pin himself to Dobbs, knowing he's the younger one. And Dobbs dealt with it well. I'd like to say we did really well defensively, and Dobbs on his professional league debut did fantastically well against a top striker who will get a number of goals in this league. So, yeah, Logan Dobbs.
And again, it was that they slung him out to do the presser after.
Yeah, agreed. And obviously, as far as that's concerned, we could have seen a change, like we were talking about on Thursday. We could have seen a change in personnel with Robbie going back in there. But I think the lack of midfield options maybe put paid to that.
Harry Waldock. Oh, sorry. I got a really bad cough. Yeah. It's almost like we don't have any midfielders on the bench. Sorry.
Do you think genuinely that a Waldock Alvarez midfield 2 is lacking experience? Maybe that's why he doesn't put them there together. He wants someone alongside Alvarez.
Yeah.
First season in the EFL that he doesn't. He wants someone more experienced alongside him who can maybe help coach him through games. Do you think that's the reason he doesn't play them both together?
I think so. I think we already know that if playing the midfield 2 anyway, which we are doing right now, is risky if you haven't got if you've got a Little or a Coleman or a McKenzie in there that don't have the legs that the younger players do. The younger players obviously will be probably more. If the younger players don't play well and the midfield gets overrun, it will be why are we not playing more experienced players in there? So you can look at it both ways, really, depending on the outcome of the game. I'd like to see Waldock get more chances, but whether or not he will over the likes of the Littles and co when they're back fit remains to be seen. I wouldn't have thought so.
He absolutely shouldn't. But we had this argument in the chat yesterday, right, of Nick Freeman at right wing back, and everyone's saying, well, what can we do? Well, first of all, we can put Harris at right wing back and put McManus at left wing back. Secondly, what we can do is put Rob McKenzie, who clearly we've all said can't play in this midfield too, at one of his more natural positions, which is on the right-hand side, and put Harry Waldock in the middle. If that isn't then working, then you can change it. Or if you're telling me Nick Freeman's a good enough centre mid because that's where he plays, play him in centre mid instead of playing a right wing back. There's so many other options, but yet again, Mr. Square Peg Round Elves is putting jobs in for his mates because I don't think Freeman's good enough to play in this side at all.
I will say to you that Rob McKenzie is not a right wing back, and I will die on that hill.
He's not, but he's a better option than Nick Freeman until our right wing back is back.
I would put Freeman in the middle personally, alongside Alvarez. I really would. I think he's ideal. I think Alvarez could learn a lot off him. He's an experienced player, and Freeman's still got legs. He's still mobile. You can see that. I know he's not a right wing back, but he's getting up and down the pitch. But that still leaves now the problem with who do we play at right wing back? Do we stick Robbie in there, which is another peg, a square peg and a round hole?
It's a better peg.
Okay, it's a better peg. But what about what's his face?
Harry Webster.
Harry Webster.
Yeah, well, you would think so, wouldn't you? You'd think maybe that would be if you're happy to play Sam Tabares there, who's a 19-year-old that's not played in the EFL before, and Webster's again, he's not at that level yet, but you don't know until you try him. Why would you not put him in?
We've gone from Hutton, who is, whatever your thoughts on Hutton, he's a right wing back, to having not a natural right back or right wing back.
Yeah.
So
I might get pelters for this.
Sorry,
but the way we're playing now, because we didn't play like this last season with two strikers, three at the back, and wing backs, right? And our wing backs really getting on the ball and trying to make something happen. This formation would suit Hutton perfectly, and I think we'd probably see the best version of Mo Hutton in this formation. Yeah. But we don't have him anymore.
No, that is.
I think we'll see him on September the 1st instead when we play Chesterfield.
Yeah. He always played better in a 5. He did.
Yeah.
And so did Max Clark. Because they had defensive cover. And Zali said sign a right wing back. I think we might have to.
Well, it depends on the Tabares injury. He's 19. You've got to protect him a little bit from that. But that was what, a month ago, Dave?
It didn't look that terrible, did it?
Well, no, not really. It looked precautionary, but now the precautionary could mean months at this rate. Yeah. Guys, let's talk about this then, because it was mentioned in the comments.
This imaginary Swiss company.
Based on one sort of random comment on a forum that I don't really trust personally. But Dave, first of all, what do you make of that? Not the dogs bit.
Right, let's also add the bit that's not in there, which is it's going to be announced Friday. It wasn't. Okay, right. So, look.
Maybe, Dave, maybe the Swiss guy has got an injury. And
he broke his finger. Can't sign the document. Look, okay, the amazing rumours that go around this club is staggering. You know, you've got people out there who are still saying, bring back Scally. Things were better under Scally. He was a football man. Come on. Now, okay, you run a company, you own a business, right? A football club. Football clubs, other than maybe the top flight, are not money generators, okay? So you are going to look at times to get extra investment to stop hemorrhaging 100 grand. Was it 100 grand a week? The Gallinsons were saying?
Yeah, someone's saying, yeah.
Right. Look at Liverpool. 30% has just been sold to Jeff Bezos and the consortium there. Didn't see them panicking and oh my God, the Gallinsons are running away. The Gallinsons are not running away. I mean, it's another half truth that people have taken on and run with and just make, you know, oh, we don't know, so we'll make something up. Are the Gallinsons looking for investment? I don't know, but I would suspect that any decent businessman who's losing 100 grand a week would look for additional investment. Why wouldn't they? And I tell you what, I'd rather have a Swiss consortium than the guy who was on trial for ripping off the US Army's Medicare for tens of millions.
Just checking that there's nothing libelous going into
There is not. No, that is a true case that Mr. Scally's made. And I would point out, I believe the charges were eventually dropped. But
all's well that ends well, then, eh?
But I suspect they're looking for investment, but I suspect all the other stuff's nonsense.
And Alex, a 3 million transfer budget. What would you do with that?
I wouldn't do what we've done with that. Let me tell you. I mean, look, my opinions on the Gallinsons, I do make public, and I do have very choice words to say about decisions they've made with the football club. And I don't hide from the fact that I appreciate that they've bought our football club and saved us from probably being in Vanarama South at this point with Paul Scally still in charge. However, as Dave's rightly said, they do run a business. And as a business, you employ people that are good at their job. If I was really bad at doing my job, right, Gary Neville's mate at Peninsula would sack me. You know what I mean? Because I'm not doing the job well enough. I'm not making that business money. And I don't think all the blame has to go on the Gallinsons. It is the people around them. Now, if Ainsworth was actually given a £3 million transfer budget and this is what we bought with it, then I'd seriously be looking at what we're doing as a football club. And that's how we're hemorrhaging money. I doubt he was. I'd imagine it was quite a nice transfer budget.
I think he's been given one with the new takeover, Alex. I think that's yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, what I'd do is I'd go out and I'd buy good players.
So, what would you transform our fortunes entirely with that budget? Would you? Or?
Well, yeah, I'd go out and buy good players, but then also would still have a really bad medical department, so they'll all get injured anyway. So we'd just be 17th in League Two again, wouldn't we?
Yeah, but we'd all be richer for it.
We would.
The problem is, right, and this is for people who are businessmen and supporters, right? They've seen what Wrexham have done, and all of a sudden they assume that our owners are going to be Ryan Reynolds and Rob Mack or whatever he's called now, Rob Mack. That is a publicity stunt that ultimately, backed by Disney, Ryan Reynolds, Rob McElhenney, Rob Mack have got all these contacts with all these big American firms who basically sponsored Wrexham so they could get on the telly and get some advertising. That's all it was. How much money have they put into the club? Probably very bloody little, right? And all of a sudden, what you've seen is a little dream. They've gone from non-league up to the Championship, and they'll probably go up to the Premier League, right? And everyone will live happily ever after, right? Now, there are another 91 clubs who want to do exactly the same. And let's be honest, it's not going to happen. That is the exception. We are living...
There's a chance.
Yeah.
But Dave, there's a chance.
There's a chance that we might get on the telly.
There's a chance. There's a chance of me getting together with Margot Robbie.
There is no.
I've been there, Dave. You're not missing much.
Oh, I'm not getting your seconds. No.
Oh,
Right.
Margot. Are we talking
Oh,
about
Halle
Margot?
Berry.
Or are we talking about Harley Quinn, Margot? They're very different, you know.
Well, you can have Harley Quinn. I'll have Margot Robbie.
This has taken a very strange turn.
Yeah.
or Halle Berry.
Showing your age, Dave. Showing your age.
Monsters
He's
Ball.
not. I agree.
Monsters Ball, Harry Berry. Yeah. Or the James Bond film, Halle Berry.
Yeah.
I'm more a Dakota Johnson kind of man myself.
And we've now been cancelled.
We have been cancelled. It's been great knowing you both. Guys, just wrap up there. Thanks for all the commenters. It's been nice to have to engage in some comments, even Kian. Tonight, let's go into next Thursday where we do a preview of the Northampton game. Cobblers, no, it's true. Thanks to Alex and Dave for the insights tonight. We'll see you back here on Thursday. We feel a bit better, don't we, after a point away from home. Let's see what we can do next Saturday when we're back at Fortress Priestfield. Thank you for watching, and come on, you Gills.